start has been delayed, but we are just about to get underway. So, we have Mountains of the Moon, Makere, and off we go. Rainfall, Mukasa Vicent of Deja University easily takes it number 2, and Glenn Otieno Ndanga of Uganda Christian University gets number 2 in that one, but we shall wait for confirmation. Yes, definitely Mukasa Vincent from Deja University making it look so easy. With that sprint, you could just probably feel a blitz busted in here in the country. Wait, did you feel that blitz here? Mukasa seemed so fast. It seemed so fast you could feel that wind passing by in the country. But anyway, the 800 meters hit first is next. 800 meters is next. 800 meters really a very unique race in its own. I remember David Rudisha growing up was the man when it came to 800 meters. Was the man. He was the man that made that race famous. Definitely it was fantastic watching him. He made me fall in love with athletics because of the 800 meters. So it is a personal favorite race of mine. From that 100-meter race hit to of mine. Of course, before heading to the other races that are coming up, I'm joined by Professor Aaron, the Vice Chancellor of Uganda Christian University in the Centre of Africa, in the heart of Africa. Welcome to the show. Thank you, Vice Chancellor. Why did you see take on the mark of hosting this organization that the fact that Makere earlier promised, unfortunately did not? Well, at UC, we are always happy to participate in any major sports events. As you can see, our sports facilities are of good standards, so it wasn't very difficult for us to do a few upgrades and be able to host the games at short notice. So we've been very happy to be the dangerous substitute to host the house games 2023. Talking about the facilities, you have quite a number of good facilities. When you go public or comparing with a university, probably feel like one of the best. Why do you take up that initiative of having one of the best facilities? Our theme as a university is a complete education for a complete person. So we like to blend our academics with other
of excellence in both fields, academics and sports. I mean, talking about how is it hard or easy to have sports programs at the university? Sports programs, first of all, are very expensive to run. They require a lot of equipment. But secondly, in Uganda and the region, we don't have very many sports professionals who have really studied the sport to a high level, to masters and PhD. So when you start a sports program, you usually run into problems with people who can teach and train your learners. So that's why we've been very slow in starting a sports program, even though we want to start it. I mean, as we conclude, where do you see you in these games? Do they have a chance of winning the games? Our athletes have done well so far. The reports I'm getting is that we are winning in most sports disciplines. Would of course be very happy to be the overall winners as hosts. So pray for us that we become the overall winners. It has been a while since we won this game. So since we're the hosts, we'll be very happy to take the trophy this year. Okay, thank you so much, Professor. Of course, let me hand you over to Faith and Yakoyada to give you more of what we expect in today's coming up races.
well, what's a morning already? It looks like what's a morning of action we've already have, and as the afternoon session sips into the morning one, it looks like we are about to have one of the very first of the middle distances, the men's 800 is about to start. Okay, one of the racers is Owankunda Benjamin in hit number 165 of BSU. In bib number 167 is Gulu University's Adair Ronald. 168 is bib number 168 is Ndivawa Jamil of KIU Akamwe Kwene Peter of Ndeje University is 169. John Michael Okusa 170 of Soroti, and of course Alitua Godfrey of Mountains of the Moon in bib number 171, and Okiror Habat of Chamboko University is in bib number 172. And of course, Makerere University's O.P. O'Brien did not make the start. And of course, we understand the situation for a lot of Makerere University students who could not make some races because they're still doing exams in their institution. The 800 in the 800 meters, they will do the first I would say 100 or so meters. They will do those first 100 meters in their lanes. Then when they get to the orange cones, you will see them running in single file, all of them going towards lane number 1, and off we go. The fastest to the cones gets a choice on which lane they are going to go to, and very quickly we can see the athletes in the black kit moving to lane number 1. And it takes quite a bit of discipline in the 800 meters. You try not to go out like a bullet. Buy yourself some time. The 800 meter, the 800 meters once again shows everyone who is king. If you don't have a long stride, you have to have endurance, and you have to feel for.
You have to feel for Adair Ronald of Bulu University.
Adair went out like a bullet, and in the 800, when you go so fast, you have to measure the second part of your race very well. And I think he'll have to kick himself a bit for not doing enough in that part of the race. But already we are having a few casualties. So unfortunate for those who have gotten injured. But in that line, we can see the winner, the second, and the third. But this is so unfortunate. Most athletes, by the way, who come for these games want to finish races, because once you finish races,
Yeah.
those are points that are added onto your institution. If you don't finish your race, more often than not, your institution might, be hurt in a big way in terms of where they finish in this competition.
Speaking of Adair Ronald, who went out like a bullet face, I have to ask though, do the athletes as well know that their chances of winning the race are reduced when they do set the pace and try and go as like Adair did, try and set the pace, go as fast as you can? Do you think the athletes as well know this? But what makes them, go as fast as they can, yet they know that in reality their chances of winning the race are actually slimmer?
I think sometimes athletes know their deficiencies, where they lack. So they try to sometimes do too much in trying to overcompensate for where they lack. And sometimes an athlete decides to go early, maybe because they've always known they have a poor finish. So they're trying, but in doing that, you may actually exhaust yourself before you actually hit top speed. Which is where you need it the most when you're hitting the home straight. So it's a bit of a disappointment for some of them, but realistically, you gave it your best shot at the end of the day.
Definitely.
And the most important thing is the effort that you put into it, whether you win or lose. Now we are looking at the second hit of the men's 800. But after the 800, we are going to have the 400 meters.
Ooh, the 400 meters. Well, just for the viewers and before we can head for this hit, what is your favorite race when it comes to these competitions?
I quite literally, like most people, you are attracted to the sprints.
Yeah.
I like watching the 100, but my personal favorite has to be the 200 meters, because there's a bit of power, but there's also a bit of endurance in
Oh
it.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
it doesn't go so quick like the 100. I feel like in the 200 meters, you can always say, "I'll catch you on the turn,
Yeah.
on the corner," or like there are some people who know how to rest very well on corners. But let's first deal with this 800 meters that is about to start. Of course, we have Tenwa Habat, Edrin Bugema, Tenwa Habat of Bugema University, Mugume Barnabas of Kawale, Kamwesa Francis of Mook, Oneg Onegui Jimmy of Ndeje, Tusherure Turiatunga of UCU, Opio Fabius of Mountains of the Moon, Mwikirize Laban of Chambogo, Chebet Caleb of Moobs, Otim Emmanuel of Mook, and Otim Emmanuel of Mook. So really, and we can already see Mugume Barnabas of Kabale in the lead, but he has quite the company in Muikirize Laban of Chambogo. We are at the bell, and right now it is Mugume Barnabas, Muikirize Laban, and of course Opio Fabius of Mountains of the Moon. I think Uganda Christian University's to Sherure Turatunga is in last place, but so far so good for Kawale University's Mugume Barnabas. And I know Kawale are showing everyone that this is their kind of race. Uganda Christian University.
Someone has definitely pulled out, and that is why the crowd is going bananas here.
Suriat Mugume Barnabas of Kabale University is running away with the men's 800, but he is being pursued by Otim Emmanuel of Makerere University. But Barnabas looks like he has this in the bag, and Kabale University wins, hits to Makerere come number 3, and Kawesa Francis of Makerere University also comes it at number 3. So it is two, it is Mugume Barnabas 1, and
I think Barnabas made that look quite easy. The way he was able to,
yeah,
he glided through the race, if I'm to put it that way.
very even pace. He didn't do too much at the beginning and didn't have to do too much at the end. But what a race by those top 3.
What fascinates you most about the 800 meter race? Because I feel you need a little bit of speed towards the end, a little bit of stamina as well to get you through, and patience. What do you think fascinates you about the race?
The 800, like I said, for me in Uganda, we failed to get that mix of physical presence
Yes.
and actual like long distance speed. I mean, if I remember the likes of Abraham Chepkirot, who was who missed out on a couple of world medals in like 2008. He was he was dressing at the time when the Rudishas were. You run the 400 2 times over because you can't go at full tilt the way a 200-meter sprinter would,
Yeah.
but you have to have an even pace that should allow you to run well in sub 1 minute pace, which is very, very hard for some few minutes here and there, give or take. So it's a bit difficult. And that's why it's in all the years we've had the Halima Nakais and we've had Halima Nakai and Winnie Nanyondo turning out the 800. We really haven't seen a good number of replacements for it because it's physically a race that sips the life out of you at the end of it.
Oh yeah, you see quite a few faces of the gentlemen that competed in the race. And we also had one pull out even halfway through the race.
Very, very, very hard race, but those that do it are absolutely, you have to be in a very good physical shape, and also just be ready to work harder.
Yes, for the viewers who may think that, oh, why doesn't he do this? This is not easy at all. Whether it be 800 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, these athletes dedicate majority of their time to be able to practice and compete just for one race.
Anyway, the women's 400 meters is about to start, and of course, the start list has Beja Dorothy of Gulu University in lane number 1, bib number 182. Lane number 2 has Namara Promise of Kabale, hit bib number 183. Then lane number 3 has Waku Priska of Uganda Christian University and has his bib number 184. And then lane number 4 has Adongongen Lillian of Ndeje University. Then lane number 5 has Ayozu Grace 186, hit bib number 186, Ndeje University. And of course, Amaro Watts, Sharon of Gulu, who won the 100 meters.
Oh yeah, she's back.
Hicks is coming back for this women's 400 meters.
Let us see whether that 100-meter race will have proved either an advantage or a disadvantage to Amarot Sharon of Gulu University. you have in this, especially in these university games, you have certain athletes competing in more than one sport. I will take a scenario yesterday where an athlete of a certain university had to play a netball game and a basketball game in back-to-back time. So it is not easy to be able to get all these races and use a certain amount of energy in a few spaces of time. There are so many games being played consecutively, so many races happening at the same time, but it is what it is, and that is why we love sports, the competitive advantage. So the 400 meters is a unique race in its own, and definitely it is one to get excited. Just a person missing is Basita Josephine of the host Uganda Christian University, as we are trying to see why or how she is missing. That is something to note as we definitely wait for this 400 meters hit semi-final one. So yet again, ladies and gentlemen, you are here at Uganda Christian University at their stadium or their main pitch for what is day one of the athletics competitions. It has been fantastic thus far. We have seen, and we're only in the hits, so I am excited. Even we are in the hits, and we have the finals to come. A personal favorite race of mine, and I will always have one that's sticking in my head, is the 4x100, the 2012 Olympic Games, where Jamaica blitz through the record 36 seconds. If I am not mistaken, Usain Bolt, you had Johan Blake in the same team. That was just a cheat code then. So, Faith, just to bring you in here, the 400 meters. What does it take to win the 400 meters?
Why do you keep asking me all these questions? What does it say? I mean, the 400 meters,
No,
the longest sprint.
hmm,
Unlike, um, unlike the 100 and the 200, in 20 seconds for the 200, you should be done.
yeah.
And I mean, this at elite level. The 400 meters, you have to keep a consistent pace for, it's like running the 200 twice.
You know why?
Very difficult.
You know why I keep asking these questions? You know why I keep asking these questions, Faith? I want the viewer to be able to have that out of field experience and try and get into the psyche of these athletes, because it is not easy. It is not easy at all. We are so many people like myself and you as well who have shared our stories in our failed careers in athletics, or even we picked too soon. I picked in high school, and here I am behind the mic now. So it is important to understand, for the viewers to understand how difficult this is to be able to compete at such a level, because this is bringing the best of university students, and soon these university students will be representing the country, or even some are already. So yeah, it is not easy, not easy at all.
Or the women's 400 meters is a final. So winner of this is taking that 400-meter gold medal for their institution. So we have Gulu in one, Kabale in two, UCU in three, Deje in four, Deje in five as well, then Gulu in six. Amara Road Sharon, we all know, rests in the women's 100 and won the heat. So is she the most warmed up athlete for this women's 400-meter final? We don't know, but we are off to the starting blocks. So
Yes, Gulu and Indeja University both having two athletes representing their institutions in this final, so their chances of winning probably are much higher than UCU and Kabale with only one.
on your
Hit.
marks. Set, go. And we are off. We can already see Ayozu Grace of Ndeje making up some ground on Amaro Road Sharon of Gulu. But we shall know when they make it around that bend of the 200. Ayozu in the lead so far. Amaro Road. Ayozu of Ndeje University, but we can see
It is Amamorate Sharon in the lead, actually.
yes, Sharon of Gulu. Amaro Roth has won.
Wow. Just wow.
What a race. She won the 100 and has given Gulu their first gold medal.
That is quite impressive. That is an impressive feat by Amorate Sharon. I mean, competing in the 100 meters heat, and a few minutes later, you come back and win the 400 meters gold. That is superhuman in some aspects.
She took it out very well, and I think her endurance is really up there with the best. It's the fact that she had that stagger on Ayozu Grace of Ndeje, and once she went past Grace, and this is from lane 6, one of the harder lanes in this particular race, she was able to come out ahead of the rest of the pack, on the bend. And I must say, for me, this is really, 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 really good for Gulu University.
Oh, yeah.
And we must now admit Gulu have the beatings of a good number of teams
Yes.
here in the athletics.
And
They
I,
might struggle in netball and there's a few, team sports, but they've done very well.
and they have been struggling in a few of the other sports, but they know where they are going to get their medals from. And it seems like athletics is where they have circled that pen. They have circled it on the calendar, and yes, she has won the gold medal. She has won the gold medal, and definitely Gulu University with the advantage in the athletics division thus far, because now they were just in a few races today. Amon Sharon has won the 100 meters hit. Remember, hit semifinals, so she's progressing to the final, and then she wins the 400-meter gold medal.
Yes, Sharon Amaro wrote. She won the first seat of the 100 meter hit one of women. Actually, during the interview with her, she was telling me that when she compares her performance in the East Africa Games that were in Nigeria last year and today's game, she feels probably she wants to better her performances. Because she was telling me she won a silver. No, she probably wants to see that she gets better. And the fact that Gulu University is not so much engaged in so many other disciplines, they feel probably they can probably have their success achieved into athletics.
Yeah, and definitely the sign of a true champion. She already has a gold medal in her bag. An improvement from the statement that she wanted. She said that she wanted to improve from her silver in Indeje last year at the East African Games. And she has taken the gold medal here and definitely is one of the favorites heading into that 100 meters finals after winning the semi-finals. So Shavik, how impressed have you been by Gulu's performances thus far in this competition, in the athletics competition?
I think for me it's good. The fact that you'll not find them so much maybe in netball, you not find them so much maybe in volleyball, you not find them so much probably among the maybe in football. Of course, they also probably understand their strength as a university. That's why they manage probably to put more effort into that. I think for me, it's just probably sitting down and privatizing what you feel that can give you a better chance. Because sometimes the right is that you'll find the university trying to compete on almost every other discipline, but the right is that what's your strength, and that's why probably would have managed to strengthen their strength. That if you can probably do better in the athletics, then probably we try so much and be in the middle bracket the other disciplines that will give us probably a leeway as a university moving forward.
Yeah, it is definitely about learning and strategizing from these universities from when they decide on what sports, on who is going to decide to represent the universities at these games. it is about strategizing, having the right strategy. How are we going to perform? What games are going to give us the opportunity to have as many medals as possible? So that when they are tallying, the gold weighs heavier than all the other medals.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, no one doubts that, especially looking at the fact that you have to put in more, especially because that is that when you look at, because when Sharon came to compete, uh, they were just few minutes away after her 100-meter hit a race. But the character and also determination showed you how much she came in to prove that she can actually achieve what she has done. And for me, it's incredible for the universe. Actually, one thing that shocked me, I was asking her who are some of your role models, and she was probably telling me that. Her role model is a former athlete and also student at UCU here. She doesn't probably believe she wants probably to set up her own legacy as a person to set her shape, brings out the best of her as an athlete.
And she is definitely in the right direction after bagging that 400-meter gold medal at this afternoon, as well as qualifying for that 100-meter final with a time yet to be scheduled later on today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we have taken a bit of a recess here at Uganda Christian University at the athletic at the main pitch, where we are broadcasting the athletic competition live on Urban TV as well as all the social media platforms. You can get your updates as well. And definitely, this is a beautiful day, beautiful weather. I will contradict Faith, who believes that this is not the perfect weather for athletes to run because you don't want it to be too hot, you don't want it to be too cold. What would you think the perfect conditions for running is?
And I think for me, the weather is perfect. Even when the interviews I've done between the two athletes, the 10,000 winner from Bishop Stewart, Kampa, he was telling me, I mean, if it wasn't this kind of weather, maybe he might have even gone on to finish second because probably it gives you, when it is too hot, the duration probably becomes very hard for an athlete to try and compete as a person. But for me, generally, the weather is very good. But for more updates, I think in game one of rugby, we saw Victoria University, who are actually favorites to win this, beating Imbarara 27 on 7.
Oh, yeah.
We saw UCU in game two, beating Chambogo 12-0. I mean,
That is an upset in its own right. I am telling you, coach, that is an upset and it is bringing a smile to my face because I tell you why.
Mm.
At the East African Games, the UCU did not score a point in all their 5 games.
Yeah, yeah,
And
true, true.
they have won their first game against Chambogo, who are also going as one of the favorites. That is
Mm.
a shocker in its own right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It has been actually impressive. Of those, of course, games that are taking place. The rugby is being played at Namilyango pitch, and we expect to probably have more that will be coming. And of course, also expect a number of different games. Of course, basketball will be played today. I think about 7. We expect some bit of volleyball later in the day. We expect some bit of netball. Of course, we expect. Of course, there's a lot. I mean, yesterday we had a game between UCU and Kampala University being rescheduled, but we expect that game maybe to be played today. That's netball because we all know there have been a bit of petitions, I think, against KU as the university in terms of netball. But I feel now the storm has been cool and we expect that game to be taking on today. Of course, a bit of tennis also, karate. Just like we broadcast you the morning session, we expect, of course, the main battles between KIU in karate and Deja University. I mean, you go to basketball, of course, UCU there, the Lady Cannons and the Cannons. Of course, football there, moves have been so much instrumental. Just like you see KU, just like you see IU, just like you are seeing different teams that are trying to compete. So we're going to be keeping you more updates that by the time probably the day ends and leads, you are really fed up with so much you're going to have today.
Yes, there is so much going on, and yet even at night, yes. Last night there was an epic volleyball game between the volleyball ladies between UCU and Makerere University. Yes, UCU might have swept Makerere University 3-0, but that was an epic game with a crowd under the lights. The atmosphere was different, and you only had to be there to be able to get it. Just a few more updates here
In the men's category for soccer, as we prepare for the 400-meter heats in the men's category, Bugema University currently leading Bishop Stewart University by 2-0. Then we head back to rugby. Mbarara University has just been dismantled by Nkozi University. Sorry, Uganda Matters University Nkozi 31-0. Game 3 as well. You have Victoria University beating UCU by 22-12. And that is it in rugby so far. Then in football as well, UCU was able to defeat Busitema University by 3-2 in what have been an epic game. So we are definitely preparing for the 400 meters men hit one.
Yeah, women, we've just had the final, but for the men, they're going to compete in 400. Hit one. There's a lot we expect coming up, of course.
So in lane one, we have Obwach Lawrence Justin, Bib 187 from Gulu University. We have Chanwengo Godfrey 188 in lane two, representing Indeja University. In lane seven, we have Omoka Kenneth, bib number 189, representing Makerere University. In lane 8, we have Oringa Lawrence, 190 bib, representing Uganda Christian University. And in lane 2, we have Shemonges Eddie with bib number 160, representing Makerere University Business School. Kiprotich Samuel is missing for Busitema, as well as Chirinji Patrick for Chambogo University.
What a day of athletics we have had so far. Already 2 gold medals have gone out. One has gone out to Bishop Stewart University in the 10,000 meters, where Akamumpa Edgar won the men's 10,000. And of course, in the women's 400 meters, we have already seen Sharon Amaro Ruot of Gulu University secure the institution's first gold medal this morning with the women's 400. There were no hits, so whoever made the start line today and run fastest ended up winning the gold medal. But for the men, we have hits. And of course, Gulu is in lane one, Ndeje University in lane 5. Then Omuka Kenneth of Makerere University, lane 7, 8 UCU with Oringa Lawrence, and of course Chemonges Eddie of MUBS is in lane number 2. The men are preparing to go to the start line for the first hit of the men's 400 meters.
So definitely the 400 meters, as Faith earlier pointed out, is more of strategy, competitive strategy in terms of running and keeping that sprint up. But we have already seen a winner from the 400 meters category, and that has gone to Gulu University. So are we confident enough to say that Gulu University are one of the favorites for this almost all the athletic competitions today?
They have to be, because the one thing like the Uganda Athletics Federation has tried to do in the last few years is ensure that athletics is, especially sprinting, is revitalized in the low-lying plains of this country. The likes of Soroti, Gulu, Arua, those are the places the Athletics Federation has identified have the right manpower in terms of the sprint disciplines of athletics. They believe people from those regions naturally have the works in terms of physicality, athleticism. So that's what they are, at least that's what Dominic Otuchet, president of Uganda Athletics Federation, said they would focus on in terms of developing athletics in Uganda. They feel like, we know that for the long distance runners, it's easy to go to Kapchora and Kabale, but let's first get this out of the way. So, like we said, the hit one of the men's 400 about to start. Gulu in lane 1, lane 2 Mobs, lane number 5 Ndeje, lane number 7 Makerere University, lane number 8 Uganda Christian University, but they've been pushed down the order, so it's really lane 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5.
It is so quiet. You can cut the tension with a knife. I mean, I think it's uniform start there, if I'm not mistaken.
The announcer here is telling everyone to be silent for the start. The men's 400 meters hit number 1. Off we go. And of course, Uganda Christian University, who are in hit in lane number 5, are trying to make a big getaway, but he is being reeled in by lane number 3. That is
That bend is so crucial.
very, very, very good bend running by athlete in the lane number 5. That is Chanwengo Godfrey of Ndeje, very experienced at this level, and he looks like he is slowly making his way down the track to secure that easy qualification. Ndeje University take this one with so much ease. Chanwengo finishes number 1. Number 2 is Omuka Kenneth of Makerere University. I mean, that if you're looking at an easy race, that was easy peasy.
I am going to refer.
And of course, number 3 was Lawrence Oringa of Uganda Christian University. But Chanwengo, I mean, I've heard this name quite a number of times in university sports. So he was the clear favorite for this one in particular.
I'm going to refer to as common street sports slang. Chanwengo Godfrey was in his bag during that 400-meter hit. I mean, it looked so easy for him. He could do it probably in his sleep if he wanted to.
Definitely, these are athletes who are always at Nambole Stadium, running every week during the national athletics competitions. So, without a doubt, I'm not surprised at how well Chanwengo has performed in this heat. And of course, it shows that you have to put in the hard work to be able to reap the results. Of course, we are about to see Hit 2 getting underway. The hit number 2 of the men's 400 meters had registered the maximum 8 athletes, but only 5 have made it to the start line, and that is Olanya Regan, bib number 161 of Ndeje University, Kusemererwa Joseph of Mountains of the Moon in lane number 3, Nuwagaba Amon bib number 159 of Bishop Stewart University, Omodo Innocent of Makerere University is in lane number 7, and Twikirize Adolf of Mountains of the Moon made the second hit. But of course, missing from this is Masai Bruno of MUBS, Okabo Santos of Uganda Christian University, and Okiror Herbert of Chambogo University. But we are about to get underway in this heat.
So yes, after we finish up with this seat, we shall have a lunch break, and then we shall be here at 2 p.m. for the resumption of the afternoon session here at the UCU main pitch at the 19th edition of the AUUS Games. So we get ready.
So Ndeje 1, Mountains of the Moon 2, BSU 3, 4, Makerere University 5, Mountains of the Moon University. And we are off in the men's 400 meters. We already see lane 5, that is
That is
Makerere University has already been taken out of the equation by Nuagaba Amon of BSU. He's running hard. Mountains of the Moon are proving to be very difficult, but Twikirize
boy.
Adolf of Mountains of the Moon takes it right there.
That is beautiful to see that Mountain of the Moon has actually taken that, because
This brings us to the end of the athletics program today at Uganda Christian University. The program will continue at 2 p.m., but for now, athletics is officially over for